The JK Movement presents Breaking the Ice, written by Sean Stewart and illustrated by Sookie the Saint. Johnny awoke to the sound of his mother's melodic voice. "This is no ordinary love, no ordinary love," she sang. The scent of breakfast travels into his room and tickles his nose, lifting him out of his bed. Johnny floats into the kitchen and instantly joins in a duet with his mother. His mother turns around. They join hands and move as one to the sound of music. Squeezing and kissing her boy, she can feel his heart beat rhythmically with her own, sounding like a calm bass line. After choreographing their steps, they both sit down at the kitchen table and eat breakfast together prior to entering the outside world. After finishing breakfast, Johnny quickly grabs his backpack and starts towards the door. Halted by his mother's voice, he freezes short of the door and turns towards her with a perplexed look on his face.
"Give me some sugar now,"
his mother said.
"and put on this hat and mittens. Don't nobody want you catching the cold out there."
"Yes, Mama,"
said Johnny. He grabs the hat and mittens with no intention of putting them on. He shoves them into the pockets of his coat, wipes the sugar off his cheek, and hurries out of the house. He starts down the stairs, avoiding the ice that coats the edge of each step, trying desperately not to slip.
"We all slip and fall at some point in life. That's when we must find a way to get up,"
his mother often said. Johnny thought about the many times he slipped and fell, bruising his tailbone. He was beginning to master the art of calculating his steps just right and maintaining his balance. One thing that he likes about the cold of the winter was breaking the ice that gathers on each side of the sidewalk with his feet. The crunching of the ice beneath his feet made him feel strong and powerful. The polar wind howls like a wolf as he continues to walk to his bus stop. The outside world is large and cold. One needs protection from the violent breeze that blows in every direction. No article of clothing had the ability to provide the warmth and shelter from such a bitterly cold world. Only the soft hands of his mother could warm the goosebumps that arise on his melanin skin. Johnny turns the corner, deciding to take a shortcut through the alley. He recalls his mother's voice in his head.
"Stay out of those alleys, boy. Ain't nothing but cold-hearted people hanging in those alleys,"
she would say. She'll never find out, he thought, and continues through the dark, brisk alley. He notices familiar faces who lived in his apartment building. They huddled over a trash can fire in an attempt to stay warm. They had been frostbitten years ago and now hid in this alley far away from their loved ones, trying to stay warm. His heart ached for them, and he wondered what their story was. Johnny finally reaches his bus stop and notices some bigger boys pushing a smaller kid to the ground. These same boys have been causing trouble at the bus stop all school year. Johnny helps the kid up from the ground. As the bus arrives, they walk toward the opening door. Suddenly, the two boys give him the cold shoulder and bump past him. "Move, lame," one of the boys said to Johnny as they got on the bus. Instead of responding, he just sat down in the first open seat. He clenched his fists as he fought the urge to teach those boys a lesson. The bus arrives at school and Johnny headed into the building. He hurries to his locker, puts his stuff up, and greets his teacher. He tries his best to forget about what happened, but the confrontation at the bus stop hovers him. Those boys routinely give him a hard time. He was not scared of those boys, but he didn't want to disappoint his mother and jeopardize his future. The bell rang and the class began with the morning announcements. Johnny overheard Mr. Salam over the loudspeaker.
"Nia means purpose in Swahili. When you find your purpose in life, you find yourself,"
he said. Johnny thought about what his purpose could be. At recess, Johnny plays football in the snow with some of his classmates. On the first play of the game, Johnny gets the handoff and runs up the sideline. He notices the two boys chasing him, so he makes a move. Joop! As he made the move, one of the boys tackles him. The other boy comes over and shoves Johnny's face into the rough snow and calls him names. The two boys walk away laughing as Johnny gets up and quickly brushes the snow from his burning face. Johnny tries to bury the anger he felt deep inside and pretend that it never happened. Fighting back tears, he is unable to shake the anger he feels inside and loses self-control. He walks up to one of the boys and socks him in the cheek. Mr. Salam intervenes and separates Johnny from the boy. Mr. Salam walks Johnny to his office and gives him time to gather himself.
Don't worry. It's gonna be all right.
Mr. Salam reassured him. By this time, Johnny's conscience catches up to him and he feels terrible about losing his temper. He wonders what his mother will think and he breaks down sobbing, knowing that she will be disappointed.
What's been going on between you and those boys?
Mr. Salam asked.
Nothing.
Johnny mumbled with his chin on his chest.
If it was nothing, you wouldn't have hit him. What made you get so angry?
Mr. Salam inquired.
Each day, I've been minding my own business, and those boys always starting something at the bus stop, at lunch, at recess, and I'm tired of it.
Johnny said.
How long has this been going on?
Asked Mr. Salam.
It happened last week and again today.
Johnny responded. When his mother gets the phone call from Mr. Salam, she is in shock. Johnny had never been in a fight with anyone at school before, and she was extremely concerned. She leaves work immediately to pick Johnny up from school. His mother walks into the office and sees Johnny sitting with his head down.
Lift your head up, boy.
She insisted.
Right or wrong, you keep your head up. Excuse me, my name is Cynthia, Johnny's mother. Please tell me what happened.
She said. Mr. Salam asked Johnny to explain to his mother what happened on the playground, but Johnny was silent.
I'm waiting. Open that mouth of yours and speak.
His mother demanded.
I got mad at these boys for messing with me, and I punched them in the face,
Said Johnny.
You did what?
His mother exclaimed.
That is unacceptable.
She sighed and turned to Mr. Salam.
Could we please speak privately?
Yes, ma'am.
He replied. She went on to explain Johnny's situation and that he lost his older brother a few years ago to gun violence. A year later, his grandmother passed away.
Sometimes he struggles with coping with those experiences. In no way does that justify his behavior. I just want you to know his story.
His mother explained.
It's just the two of us now.
Mr. Salam could relate to Johnny's experiences and had empathy for him. Johnny reminded him of himself in many ways.
I see a lot of potential in your son,
he said. The following day, his mother drives him to school instead of him riding the bus. Johnny walks into his classroom and heard some of his classmates whispering to one another about the incident on the playground. No one ever stood up to those boys like that, they said. Several of his classmates walk up to him and say, Hey, Johnny Knuckles. He didn't want to have a reputation for fighting, but the nickname had a ring to it. Later that day, Mr. Salam gathers Johnny and the two boys together and has them sit in a circle. In the center of the circle are some items that Johnny has only seen at his grandmother's house. On the floor is a kente cloth, and on top are beautiful stones and an assortment of what appear to be artifacts, each of which caught the boys' attention.
I want to take the time to thank each of you for being part of this circle. It takes a lot of bravery and humility to be part of this process,
Mr. Salam said with a calm tone. The tone he used seemed to warm up the room and made them feel comfortable. His presence among them showed that he cared deeply and established empathy and trust between himself and the boys.
Can I speak to you, Johnny?
Asked Mr. Salam after the circle.
Yeah.
Johnny replied with some hesitation.
Yesterday, I spoke to your mother about possibly working with you after school a few days a week. I have a friend that runs a program at Jimmy Lee Recreation Center. I volunteer my time to help out with the program, and I would love for you to be part of it. Stop by tomorrow after school and I will show you around,
said Mr. Salam. That evening at dinner, Johnny's mother asked,
How was school today, baby?
Johnny quickly responds,
It was good. I did a circle with Mr. Salam and those boys. He invited me to the rec center after school.
That sounds like a great opportunity.
said his mother.
I don't really want to go,
said Johnny.
I think you should try it out. You won't know until you try.
His mother encouraged. The next day, Johnny timidly walks to Jimmy Lee instead of taking the bus home after school. He breaks the ice with his feet and thinks about the connection he has with Mr. Salam. When he arrives, he is amazed at what he discovers. There are children that look like him everywhere participating in all types of activities. Martial arts, boxing, spoken word, African drumming, theater, hip-hop dance, and basketball. They have a huge football field. There was even a recreation room with video games, music, and a safe space for kids to just relax and chill. He heard a familiar voice behind him say,
"What's up, Johnny?"
He turns around, looks up, and sees Mr. Salam.
"Welcome to Jimmy Lee. Let me show you around,"
he says. Mr. Salam and Johnny sat down at the table.
"You know, Johnny, you remind me a lot of myself,"
he said.
For real?
Replied Johnny.
"I grew up as a kid that had a short temper. I used to hold all of these things inside that I never told anyone about. Not my mother, not my friends, not anyone.
Mr. Salam said.
After holding it in for so long, I would explode."
Johnny never thought about what he was holding inside and the effect it had on him.
So that's what happened on the playground?
Johnny said, making the connection.
"Exactly.
Mr. Salam responded.
We must find an outlet."
Like an electric socket?
Johnny asked.
"Kind of.
Laughed Mr. Salam.
It's a tool that I use to manage my energy."
Johnny arrives home and sees his mother fixing dinner. He can hear her melodic voice singing Stevie Wonder, "Summer Soft," one of his favorite songs. As she sings, he tiptoes into the kitchen.
Hey, Mama!
He screams. His mother jumps to the ceiling.
You little jive turkey.
She screams. She chases him into the living room as he runs away laughing. She quickly catches him and hugs and kisses her boy.
Don't call me a jive turkey, Mama. Call me Johnny Knuckles.
He said, smiling.
Okay, Johnny Knuckles.
His mother laughed. Mr. Salam found a way of breaking the ice that coated Johnny's heart like the stoop of his apartment building. With the help of a mentor, Johnny felt like there was nothing he couldn't do. He was learning how to deal with adversity and turn his negative energy into personal motivation. Together, they formed an unbreakable bond that would last a lifetime. Now, each morning when Johnny left his warm home, the world didn't feel quite so cold. He continued breaking the ice as he walked through his neighborhood, whether to the bus stop or to the wreck. Those boys never bothered him again. Each day after school, he radiantly walked to Jimmy Lee. Not only did he find a mentor, Johnny had found himself.